Being rejected by an ugly man ruined her life so bad that she needed a backstory. Welcome everybody! Today's class is about unnecessary backstories featuring Demon Slayer Season 3. Again, how, who, and why are the three most important questions when writing a backstory. This season of Demon Slayer fails at answering these questions completely. More or less. It presented us with 4 backstories and only one of them was meaningful. The successful one was for the main villain of the story, Muzan. The failing 3 were for 3 new characters presented this season. Genya, the Love Ashira Mitsuri Kanroji, the Mist Ashira Muichiro Tokito. Well, first, how should a backstory be presented? A backstory should be presented as part of the main plot. Something or someone needs to give us that information without breaking the flow of the plot. Here are some bad examples. The Kakashi backstory and the Turn Back the Pendulum arc are very bad but important backstories in Naruto Shippuden and Bleach, at least in terms of the execution, of the how. Both show meaningful events of the past that influence important characters in the main plot, but they just stop the series midway through to show us that. Good examples of how to introduce a backstory would be Obito explaining Itachi's backstory to Sasuke, Isshin explaining Ichigo how his mother died, or how the Survey Corps discovered the truth about the world around them in Eren's father's secret room. In this season of Demon Slayer, except for Muzan, the character itself gives the audience an exposition of their own past without any context in the story indicating it, breaking the flow of the main plot. Genya and Kanroji backstories are narrated by them when they're about to die. Muichiro's backstory was also narrated by him when he and someone else were about to die, but at least his backstory entered the plot to signify that he regained his memory, something which we were hinting towards throughout the season. Hence, it had some meaning to be considered as part of the plot. The only thing that falls flat about this narrative progression is that the trigger for him to regain his memory didn't really feel like a significant moment. He lost his memory after he and his brother were attacked by a demon. He was at the verge of death and was saved by the wife of the Demon Slayer Corps leader, Lady Amane. He remained 3 years without his memory. Then he began to steadily regain it by interacting with Tanjiro, just because he looked and acted like his father. When he completely regained his memory, do you think it was because of something related to his past was happening again or in a similar way? Not really. Kotetsu, another character we met today in this season, was just about to die and the first thing Tokito remembers was his father, of all people. Not the regret of not saving his brother, not Lady Amane, not the demons, nothing, just his father. Why did we remember his father in the first place? Well, it was meant to create emotional value. We see how he lost his dad and his mother first, then we see how he lived with his bullying brother, then how he died as well in his arms. So tragic. I'm almost crying. Tragic! The only time this memory plot device that I recall being used properly was in Bleach, during the Arrancar arc. The character Nelliel being face to face with the person who smashed her head, that provoked her memory loss, claims he did it right in her face. Thus, she ends up regaining her memory, only for a short brief moment. Second, who is important for the plot? A backstory can only be given to VICs, very important characters, or characters that the author wants us to care about. It became a popular trope in anime and in Demon Slayer that whenever we get a less known character's backstory is because they are going to die. In other words, the backstory right before the death of the character is supposed to tell us that they matter as well, that they have an existence we should care. Demon Slayer is always trying to play with our emotions. This season, we were given the backstory of Genya right in the moment he himself thinks he's going to die without fulfilling his objectives. So, we automatically think he's going to die. What happens to Genya after the backstory?
Surprise, motherfucker!
He does not die. The anime tricked us. And does Genya belong to the VIC club? Not at all. He was important in this fight because he happened to be in the blacksmith village. Up until this arc, we only saw glimpses of him in the story. Therefore, he is a side character.
Hey, stay back, alright?
Alright. Stay back? What are you talking about, stay back? I'm just as cold as him, ain't I? He acting like I'm a side character.
His backstory is just there for shock value and pretty much show the backstory of a Hashira, which was important for us in the series before. As for both Hashira's backstories, Muichiro and Kanroji, due to their positions in the Demon Slayer Corps, they are obviously important characters in the world itself. Third, why are we getting a backstory? Even though we only have backstory for important characters, it is important to understand why we are getting them. Backstories pretty much give us a new perspective on the personality, ambitions, and overall importance of some characters. If we see them behave in a way different from how we perceive them, then the character becomes intriguing to us. If the backstory answers all our questions and surprises us, and still makes sense in the confinement of the anime, then it's an amazing, worthy backstory. I cannot think of a more impactful backstory in anime than Itachi from Naruto and Guts' backstory in Berserk, despite coming in abruptly and breaking the flow of the plot. What do we see from Genya up until then in the series that made him intriguing? Well, when we first meet him, we assume he's an angry, impatient Bakugo teenager that is rude to everyone else. The second time, he is also rude, and we realize that he got buffed. So much so that he towered over our MC. When we meet him in the blacksmith village, he still acts in the same don't piss me off way. The only thing intriguing about him is the source of his power. During the fight in this season, we see him resurrect from various deadly injuries. Is he human? Is he a hybrid? Is he a demon? Does Genya's backstory answer these questions we have about the character? Nope, not at all. It only explains why he is so impatient and his ambition to meet his brother, an actual Hashira. Are we going to need another backstory or explanation for the questions we had? Probably. His explanation for his power was very brief and unsatisfying, given the hate for demons in the corp. How is he the only one that can use demon powers? How is Tanjiro and nobody questioned this, when his sister is always being questioned about it? Like, hello? In the end, Genya's backstory ends up being pointless and is just a setup for his brother. What about the love Hashira? What makes her intriguing? Up until then, we only saw her at the Hashira meeting and we saw her bubbly and flirty personality and thoughts. She acts like a young teenager most of the time and dreams about getting married to someone strong. Her personality is as fleshed out as possible. What else is intriguing about her? First, how strong is she? Is she just an airhead? After we see her blade, we are more intrigued about its shape and fighting style than anything else. Does the backstory answer these questions? Once again, no. She's strong because of some weird mutation that is not explained. That makes her eat a lot and have a weird hair color. She's bubbly because she feels that the demon corp is the right place for her despite not having bad experiences with demons. We later see her getting a mark on her chest and we assume it must be related to her mutation. The funniest thing about her backstory is that she fights because she can't get a normal marriage without hiding her true self. Thus, she went to a place where she could use her strength. She still wants to get married, but it will be to someone stronger than her. Did it answer any of our questions we needed? Nope. Was it a pointless backstory as well? Absolutely not. Her backstory felt like a feminist rant by the author. Apparently, men are very insecure about strong women. Women can be their true selves and they have to change themselves for men. Women want to be free from marriages and fight for their dreams. Be true to yourself. You go, girl. Honestly, the author played herself on this one. She just showed how fragile women are to rejection. Like, Kanroji is not ugly or unattractive. She's a baddie, in anime terms.
Sure.
Like, being rejected by an ugly man ruined her life so bad that she needed a backstory. Goddamn girl, that's just a game. Chill. This guy is the OG red pill guru. Hey, he's a high value man. He ain't married no weird ass hair color chick. Fuck that.
And now I'm crying over this man that I didn't even really like. Like, he's a mediocre white man, like the rest of them.
A weak man knows that a strong woman is going to make him level up and become the man that she needs him to be. A weak woman will accept him as is, bad behavior and all, because she's weak with a very low self-esteem, and he knows that. A weak man can't love a strong woman. He won't know what to do with it.
What about the Miss Ashira? What about him made him intriguing? Well, the first time we see him is portrayed as a quiet airhead. The interactions we get from him showed us that he was a person with a very clouded memory, but also a very rude, rational, insensitive, and cold demeanor. But once in a while, when he remembers something from his past, his behavior would change. We begin to wonder, how did he lose his memory? Why did his personality shift so much when he's close to Tanjiro? Does the backstory explain his current behavior? Yes, everything was explained. Whoa, surprising. We got more future setups as well. This backstory is far from pointless. Did it exceed our expectations? Well, not much. Every character in Demon Slayer has a similar backstory. Their family is poor and they get attacked by a demon. Even the main character's backstory is the same. Out of the 3 backstories, the one that answers best the how, why, who properly is Muichiro's backstory. Despite some issues in execution of the how, the other 2 were completely unnecessary. They were just there for us to like the characters, and pretty much made the rules of this world more bendable, possibly risking its enjoyment in the future. We got people that can change into demons, super babies, super convenient, unsuperstitious parents. Like, I'm not saying they should throw a kid in the gutter, but at least go to a motherfucking doctor. Red-pilled ugly guys, Orochimaru's curse marks, and no such thing as a female blacksmith. Muzan's backstory is the one that made most sense. Is the main villain. His backstory was ingrained with the main plot because he was commenting on occurring events. We discovered the reason behind his evil plots and doings. Even his personality is clearer to us. Anyway, every anime has their flaws, and this one certainly has theirs. Let me know what your opinion on the subject matter is in the comment section. That's it for today's class. You're dismissed.
Oh, please. I'll tell you back in a second.